Welcome to Math 8 Review, Unit 1A, Lesson 5, Graphing Linear Functions. The important thing for this lesson is that you will be able to use a table to graph a linear function. You will also be able to identify the slope and y-intercept for a linear equation in slope-intercept form. You're going to use this information to graph without a table of values. So let's start with the table of values and this whole big concept. A linear equation is an equation whose graph is a line. The points on the line are solutions of the equation. So you can use a graph to show the solutions of a linear equation. This situation represents the equation y equals x plus 1. The equal sign doesn't show much there. Y equals x plus 1. So what we have done is they have picked values for x and they've substituted them in to find what y is. So if x is -1, you'd have a -1 plus 1, and that would give you 0 for y. If x is 0, you'd have a 0 plus 1, and that would give you 1 for y, and so on. They've then plotted these points on the graph. So let's watch this and take a look at ourselves. So graph y equals -2x plus 1. First, you make a table of values. Notice your x table, -1, 0, and 2. They've picked 3 values close to the origin. The origin is that point 0, 0 right here. They've found their y values by plugging in, and then they've written it in ordered pair form, so you can tell that you plot your x and then your y. Once you do that, you plot a line through the points, putting arrows on both ends. So we're going to try it. So we want to graph the linear equation, y equals 3x. So I'm going to make my x and my y. Y equals 3x, and then y. I'll pick 3 points. I'm going to do 0, 1, and 2. I'm going to do -1, 0, and 1. So I'll plug in 3 times -1 would give me -3. 3 times 0 would give me 0. 3 times 1 would give me 3. So if I want to, I can add another column for x comma y. So x comma y would be -1, -3, 0, 0, and 1, 3. So let's go over here to this one shared graph and let's plot them. So I'm going to first label x and y. -1, -3, 0, 0, and 1, 3. Remember, x always comes first, y comes second. And put my line through. Everything's going to go on this same graph, so it's important to have a label. And there's my equation. I'll do the next one. I'm going to shorten my table because I can do a lot of this in my head, and I know you're thinking the same thing. So I can say -1, 0, and 1 again. -2 times -1 is a +2. -1 gives me 1. -2 times 0 is 0, -1 gives me -1. -2 times 1 is a -2, -1 gives me -3. If you need to write the whole table, you can. If you want to do it in your brain like this, you can. And then you can plot those points. I'm going to switch a color. -1, 1, 0, -1, and 1, -3. So I will connect that. And I will label it y equals -2x minus 1. Some of you might be saying, oh, that's a negative slope. We'll get there. So I'm going to skip the third one and move on to how to graph without a table. So if we are looking to graph without a table, it's important that our equation is in slope-intercept form. And this is the slope, the coefficient of x, referred to with the variable m. And this is the y-intercept, the constant at the end, referred to as the letter b. You may remember slope is equal to rise over run. So we're going to do a few things to practice that. So here we have a chance to match things. We're not graphing, we're just matching. So this is y equals 2x plus 1. So our slope would be m is 2, and our y-intercept is 1. This is y equals 1/3 x minus 2. So our slope is 1/3 and our y-intercept is -2. And this would be y equals negative 2/3, so our slope is negative 2/3, and our y-intercept is 1. So notice that all of them have, 2 of the 3 have a y-intercept of 1, so that means that this one, number 12, has to be choice A. It has a y-intercept of negative 2. It has a slope, a rise of 1 and a run of 3, and we see that as going down and to the left, so it's either up and to the right, 1, 3, or down and to the left. So now we know that this one is choice A. Okay, so let's look at the next two. Notice that one of them has a positive slope, which means it starts low and goes up. One of them has a negative slope, which means it starts high and goes down. So here we have a y-intercept of 1. The slope is positive 2. It rises 2 and goes over 1, and then goes down to the down 2 and to the left 1. So this would be choice B. And here is our negative slope. Let's just confirm it. It starts at 1 for y-intercept. It goes down 2 and to the right 3. Yep, or up 2 and to the left 3. We got it. So that would be choice C. Thank you for watching. That concludes our graphing linear functions.